Welcome to the heart and mind of business. Are you ready for some help? Is your business expanding? That is what today's show is all about. We'll see you in a moment. Hi, I'm Debbie Clement Large, and I'm looking forward to Clara Rose's information around taking on some help, because there are so many options, aren't there?
There really are a lot of options that people might not think about outside of traditional employees, right? When business owners, especially first-time business owners, start thinking about hiring help, they think, I need to bring on an employee. Right?
So can we go right back to the basics, and how do we know we're ready for some help? Because that's a scary stage, isn't it?
It is a scary stage. So you know that you're ready for help when you're so busy doing the tasks of managing your business that you no longer have time for the other pieces. So especially in the beginning of most entrepreneurial journeys, you wear all the hats, right? You're the marketing team, you're the cleaning the office team, you're the acquisitions team, you do all the deliverables, you're the secretary, you're everything, right? If you're a solopreneur, you're everything. And it can become difficult to wear all of those hats. But when you become so busy that there's one of those pieces suffer, it's time for help. Right.
So it's balancing off, I guess, the amount of money and things you've got coming in with thinking, oh, can I afford somebody?
Right. And even when you think I'm ready for the help, I think I can afford somebody, it still makes sense to sit down and pencil out what those expenses are going to be. If you bring on a full-time or part-time employee, you have to think about employee taxes. You have to think about that, whether the flow of revenue coming in is consistent enough that there can be an additional flow of revenue out, additional flow of money out, right? So if you say, I'm going to pay someone $500 a week, you better be able to look at your projections and say, okay, the company can afford that as is right now. And that can be a big, scary jump. For most people, that's a big, scary jump, because that's that consistent money out. So.
And you're feeling responsible for somebody else then,
you
aren't
you?
You really are.
You really literally are. Somebody takes a job, you're saying, I'm going to pay you X every week or every other week or every month, however you pay them. I'm going to be paying out this money. And they're depending on it and counting on it. And legally, if they work the hours, you are legally obligated. So you are responsible. So that's a big step for some people. It can be scary.
What if that's too big a step? Is there an intermediary?
There absolutely are other options. So let's talk about what a few of those options might be. I think back to many years ago when my husband and I had a company and we just needed some part-time office help. We actually went to the local high school and asked about their apprenticeship program, which was, back then it was kind of dwindling, but now it's making a comeback where people are looking for high school students or college students looking for a place where they can go learn hands-on and get some real world experience. So we had a young lady come in a couple hours every day. Later in her day for school, she got school credit for coming, and we paid her. It was like a minimum wage kind of thing, but she got some money in her pocket. She got some real world experience, and it worked out beautifully. So there's paid and unpaid apprenticeships and intern opportunities out there that you could explore. Really cost-effective way.
Yeah, so I mean, you could go to universities, you could get Saturday. Like my daughter's doing her, well, we have sixth form, over here, and she is looking for a Saturday job. So if somebody was having a business and they just wanted a few hours over a weekend or of an evening, then that would kind of be ideal to look for somebody who's just looking for a little bit of temporary.
Right.
and not necessarily, going to be potentially under lots of thresholds that they're not going to have to pay additional employer
Right.
stuff. I guess the same
Right.
as in the US.
So less expensive for sure. There's still some, I mean, you still have to hold out some taxes and those kinds of things, but it's a much smaller threshold for people to just bring in somebody in a really limited weekend, or a couple hours a day or 1 day a week basis. And then the tasks that you can get off of your plate as the employer are those small things, right? The inbox that keeps stacking up because it hasn't been filed, or right, the follow-up thank you cards, or things that somebody can come in and easily do for you, takes them off your plate and gives you a little more margin in your day for other things. And that's what, when you're ready for help, that's an easy place to start, right? Let's just get a little bit of help in here, take a little pressure off. So that's a one way to start.
But even then, that's still a responsibility, even having like a Saturday
Sure.
girl or boy or an apprentice.
Sure.
So what if you don't even want that level of commitment? Because then, if you think, oh, I can't work this, you're still having to, let somebody go, aren't you? Which can make you feel horrible.
Yes, that's true. So there's some other ways that you can work with people or get the help that you need without hiring directly an employee, apprentice, or an intern. You can outsource. So there are some wonderful organizations that you can go to, like companies that offer virtual assisting. Now, not everything can be handed off to a virtual assistant, but in the day and age that we live, where everything's so technology based anyway, lots and lots of stuff can be handed off to a virtual assistant or company that offers virtual assisting. So that's super easy to say, I have this set of tasks right here, and they're going to charge you not on an ongoing basis usually, but by that chunk, right? By that project, or you could do it, say, I need 20 hours next week. And they'll say, this is what it'll cost you. Or they'll say, it's $20 an hour. You tell us how many hours you want, or right. But you're not obligated to that every week consistent payroll. It's they work, you pay. You don't have work for them, you don't have to pay them. So that's a really non-committal. That's a really easy way to get a little bit of extra help.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's the same over there as it is here, but if there is a fine line between what's classed as an employee, and you've got to be really careful that if you're telling them when they've got to work at certain times, and so they can then potentially be classed as an employee. Yes. Even though they've got their own business.
Yes. So you can't, that's true here as well in the US. You can't tell them when or how to accomplish the work. This is the work that I need done. And then it's up to them to deliver at their own timing, for sure. If you consistently have somebody who's working the same hours, and you're directing how they do the work, for here, it's the IRS could come back and say, oh no, that's really an employee, and then make you go back and pay employee tax on them. Yeah. So there is a fine line. Just make sure you know how the laws and the rules work where you are, and make sure you stay within the parameters they assign to that. But hiring somebody to come in as an independent contractor for tasks is a great way to get extra help when you need it and not pay for them when you don't.
No, I guess you pay a little bit more per hour because you're paying for the organization as well.
Yes.
But like you're really flexible and just say, oh, I've just want somebody to do this task. It's going to take about 5 hours, and it needs to be done within the next 2 weeks or the next week. And
project basis.
They go. Yeah.
Which is a really easy way to get some help. I get help often in my business when I need it, with extra hands for editing. There's lots of freelance editors out there, lots of people who do graphics. So if I need a specific thing, like a specific edit on a book, it's super easy for me to reach out to somebody and say, hey, I have another project. Are you interested? Here's what I'm paying for the project. And they'll say yay or nay. And over time, you build relationships with those people because they have their own business too, right? Yeah. So then it just becomes like a back and forth referral almost. And when you need them, they put you into their schedule. I may sometimes wait because I can't say, hey, I need an edit done right now. And one of them might say, you know what, I could start next week on that. Or I could have that to you by the end of the month. Right? But I'm only paying for that project. So that works out beautifully in my business.
And it's like you say, it's building those relationships and actually making sure that if somebody's doing work for you, that the person, the customer doesn't know whether it's you doing it yourself or whether it's somebody else doing it, but they will expect your standard.
Yes. And so that's about making sure that you're hiring quality people.
Yeah.
Right. And that relationship over time, when somebody does great work for you, it's in their best interest to do great work for you because you'll bring them more projects. Right. It's super important for your business that your customer still sees that level of excellence.
Yeah,
that's important to me.
That's really good information. So there are lots of choices out there. We can choose to either take somebody that's in high school or college or something on just for a few hours, or you can go to a company or a VA. There's loads of virtual assistants around at the moment. Sure. And really, if you want something and you know that you're going to be flying and you're going to willing to take that chance to take on an employee, whether part-time or full-time.
Yes.
Exciting stuff. Thank you for sharing that.
Last thing that just popped into my head that I'll share really quick is staffing agencies. So staffing agencies are more expensive, but you get to treat them like that hourly employee without any long-term commitment. The staffing agency actually employs the people, and then you just work with the staffing agency to say, I need, next week I need 40 hours from an office assistant. I need a 40-hour week. And they hire the people, vet the people, and send the people out. If that person isn't a good fit, you say, that person doesn't work, send me somebody else, and they'll send you somebody else. And then ultimately, if they're a great fit and you decide you want to hire them for yourself, you do pay a fee to the staffing agency because you're taking their employee away from them, essentially.
A release fee or something.
Yeah, a release fee. And then you can hire them full-time internally or part-time internally if that works out. So just one more of the many ways that you can get some extra help when it's time.
And actually, one really quick way before that I learned is some universities on the different programs, they actually look for businesses for their students to get some little bit of experience, so completely free sometimes, which is fabulous.
Interns, we love interns.
Thank you very much for sharing that. I know that expanding and taking on people or taking on new help can be a little bit daunting and a bit scary, but also very exciting. And you want to make sure, as you said, get the right person. So
absolutely. So of course, today's information came from our book, 8 Ways to Mind Your Own Business, Strategy and Mindset for the New Entrepreneur. If you have not seen it, haven't gotten your copy, you can hop on over to our pages and definitely grab yourself a copy. But we do talk about it every week. We will see you. Oh, don't forget to like and share while you're here. Pop some comments below to us. We'd love to hear from you and all about your journey.
Absolutely. And there are lots of other videos to check out to help you kickstart your entrepreneurial journey. So check them out. And when you subscribe, you will find out more about them. So we look forward to seeing you again soon. Thank you very much for joining us.
See you next week.
See you next week.